Comsat Communications Satellite Corporation discovered that the Sun and Moon trick satellites and shut them off. Earth satellites could be confused by showers of particles from solar flares or by changes in the Moon's reflection of infrared rays. The Nephilim, too, were aware that rocket ships or spacecraft entered a zone of confusion once they passed Earth and near Venus, Mercury, and the Sun. They separated from the four by an assumed celestial bar. The seven were in a celestial zone, for which the Sumerians used the term UB. The UB consisted of 7 parts called in Akkadian Jiparunite resonances. There is little doubt that this was the origin of Near Eastern beliefs in the 7 heavens. The 7 orbs or spheres of the UB comprise the Akkadian Geshet in the entirety. The term's origin was the Sumerian Shu, which also implied that part which was the most important, the supreme. The 7 planets were therefore sometimes called the 7 shiny ones Shunu, the 7, who in the supreme part rest. The 7 were treated in greater technical detail, and the 4. Sumerian, Babylonian, and Assyrian celestial lists described them with various epithets and listed them in their correct order. Most scholars, assuming that the ancient texts could not possibly have dealt with planets beyond Saturn, have found it difficult to identify correctly the planets described in the texts. But our own findings make identification and understanding of the names' meanings relatively easy. First to be encountered by the Nephilim approaching the solar system was Pluto. The Mesopotamian lists name this planet Shupa, supervisor of the Shu, the planet that guards the approach to the supreme part of the solar system. As we shall see, the Nephilim could land on Earth only if their spaceship were launched from the 12th planet well before reaching Earth's vicinity. They could thus have crossed the orbit of Pluto not only as inhabitants of the 12th planet, but also as astronauts in a moving spaceship. An astronomical text said that the planet Shupa was the one where the deity Enlil fixed the destiny for the land, where the god, in charge of the spacecraft, set the right course for the planet Earth, and the land of Sumer. Next to Shupa was Iru. At Neptune, the spacecraft of the Nephilim probably commenced its wide curve or loop toward its final target. Another list named the planet Humba, which connotes swampland vegetation. When we probe Neptune someday, will we discover that its persistent association with waters is due to the watery swamps the Nephilim saw upon it. Uranus was called Kakopshanam, a planet which is the double. Uranus is truly the twin of Neptune in size and appearance. A Sumerian list calls it N.T.Mash. SIG, planet of bright greenish life. Is Uranus, too, a planet on which swampy vegetation abounded? Beyond Uranus looms Saturn, a giant planet nearly 10 times Earth's size, distinguished by its rings, which extend more than twice as far out as the planet's diameter. Armed with a tremendous gravitational pull and the mysterious rings, Saturn must have posed many dangers to the Nephilim and their spacecraft. This may well explain why they called the 4th planet Targalu the Great Destroyer. The planet was also called K.She. Die, weapon of righteousness, and She He, who for justice kills. Throughout the ancient Near East, the planet represented the punisher of the unjust. Were these names expressions of fear or references to actual space accidents? The extra-terrestrials we have seen made reference to storms of the waters between Anunnaki on the 4th day, when the spacecraft was between Anshar Saturn and Geshar Jupiter. A very early Sumerian text, assumed since its first publication in 1912 to be an ancient magical text, very possibly records the loss of a spaceship and its 50 occupants. It relates how Marduk, arriving at Ariel, rushed to his father Ea with some terrible news. It has been created like a weapon, it has charged forward like death. The Anunnaki, who are 50, it has smitten. The flying bird like Shuasar, it has smitten on the breast. The text does not identify it. Whatever destroyed the Shuasar, the flying supreme chaser, and its 50 astronauts. But fear of celestial danger was evident only in regard to Saturn. The Nephilim must have passed by Saturn and come in view of Jupiter with a great sense of relief. They called the 5th planet Borbaru Bright One, as well as Sag.Me.Gar Great One, where the spacesuits are fastened. Another name for Jupiter, and a true guide in the heavens, also described its probable role in the journey to Earth. It was the signal for curving into the difficult passage between Jupiter and Mars, and the entry into the dangerous zone of the asteroid belt. From the epithets, it would seem that it was at this point that the Nephilim put on their MIs, their spacesuits. Mars, appropriately, was called UT-Ka.Gab.Elite, established at the gate of the waters, reminding us of the Sumerian and biblical descriptions of the asteroid belt as the celestial bracelet separating the upper waters from the lower waters of the solar system. More precisely, Mars was referred to as Shelibi-1 near the center of the solar system. An unusual drawing on a cylinder seal suggests that, passing Mars, an incoming spacecraft of the Nephilim established constant communication with mission control on Earth. The central object in this ancient drawing simulates the symbol of the 12th planet, the winged globe. Yet its text looks different. It is more mechanical, more manufactured and natural. Its wings look almost exactly like the solar panels with which American spacecraft are provided to convert the sun's energy to electricity. The two antennas cannot be mistaken. The circular craft, with its crown-like top and extended wings and antennas, is located in the heavens, between Mars, the six-pointed star, and its moon. On Earth, a deity extends his hand in greeting to an astronaut still out in the heavens, near Mars. The astronaut is shown wearing a helmet with a visor and a breastplate. The lower part of his suit is like that of a fisherman, a requirement, perhaps, in case of an emergency splashdown in the ocean. In one hand he holds an instrument, the other hand reciprocates the greeting from Earth. And then, cruising on, there was Earth, the seventh planet. In the lists of the seven celestial gods it was called Shuji, right, resting place of Shu. It also meant the land at the conclusion of Shu, of the supreme part of the solar system, the destination of a long space journey. While in the ancient Near East the sound GI was sometimes transformed into the more familiar KI, Earth, dry land. The pronunciation and syllable GI have endured into our own times in their original meaning, exactly as the Nephilim meant it to be: geography, geometry, geology. In the earliest form of pictographic writing, the sign Shuji also meant Shiva the seven, and the astronomical texts explain Shar Shadi Iln Lilanakak Gab Shuji Kabi, Lord of Mountains, deity Enlil, with planet Shuji is identical. Paralleling the seven stations of Marduk's journey, the planets' names also bespeak a spaceflight. The land at the journey's end was the seventh planet, Earth. We may never know whether, countless years from now, someone on another planet will find and understand the message drawn on the plaque attached to Pioneer 10. Likewise, one would think it futile to expect to find on Earth such a plaque in reverse, a plaque conveying to Earthlings information regarding the location and the route from the 12th planet. Yet such extraordinary evidence does exist. The evidence is a clay tablet found in the ruins of the Royal Library in Nineveh. Like many of the other tablets, it is undoubtedly an Assyrian copy of an earlier Sumerian tablet. Unlike others, it is a circular disc, and though some cuneiform signs on it are excellently preserved, the few scholars who took on the task of deciphering the tablet ended by calling it the most puzzling Mesopotamian document. In 1912, L.W. King, then curator of Assyrian and Babylonian antiquities in the British Museum, made a meticulous copy of the disc, which is divided into 8 segments. The undamaged portions bear geometric shapes unseen on any other ancient artifact, designed and drawn with considerable precision. They include arrows, triangles, intersecting lines, and even an ellipse, a geometric mathematical curve previously assumed to have been unknown in ancient times. The unusual and puzzling clay plaque was first brought to the attention of the scientific community in reports submitted to the British Royal Astronomical Society on January 9, 1880. R.H.M. Bosanquet and A.H. Sayce, in one of the earliest discourses on the Babylonian astronomy, referred to it as a planisphere, the reproduction of a spherical surface, as a flat map. They announced that some of the cuneiform signs on it suggest measurements appear to bear some technical meaning. The many names of celestial bodies appearing in the 8 segments of the plaque clearly established its astronomical character. Bosanquet and Sayce were especially intrigued by the 7 dots in one segment. They said these might represent the phases of the moon, were it not for the fact that the dots appeared to run along a line naming the star of stars Di Elgan.